Hello, good morning, everyone. Um, Actually, thank God for this morning. And today, um, I just want to start my day with this project. So, without wasting much time, I'm going to open the project which we have here. Okay, so the project in which we have here is titled Only by Two. Only by Two. So we are going to write a function that finds all multiples of 2 in a list. So that means anything that can be divided by 2, so like 2, 4, 8, all those numbers that can be divided by 2. So return a new list with true or false. Return a new list with true or false. So in our function, we are returning a new list with true or false. So true or false simply is just like me saying printing out numbers 1 and 0, which I'm going to show you. Depending on whether the integer at the same position in the original list is a multiple of 2. The new list should have the same size as the original list. You are not allowed to import any models. So now, when you go further to look at this, in a very close note, we create a main file, which I'm going to explain later. We create a divisible by 2 models. Then we import the code we have just written. Then after the importation, we declare a new list, which is this list here, and we pass certain numbers, 1 0 1 2 3 5 6 and whatsoever was passed to the list. Now after that, the next thing we did was we look through the list, is equals to divisible by 2, just like this. Then we pass in our whatever list we have inside the function we are just declaring. So this declared function was assigned to a variable called list results. So now we make use of that list results and do whatsoever we have there, so which I'm going to explain later on in this. So now, what's the first thing? We have this. I would like to copy this, so we'll go ahead and start the project. Good. So whenever we run that, this is what is going to happen. Something like this is going to be printed out, which is 0 is divisible by 2, 1 is not divisible by 2, 2 is not divisible by 2, and 3 is not divisible by 2. So that's what we are doing today. Please stay tuned. So now I'm going to open my Tmux. So I'm going to locate where my Tmux is, and we are good to go. So now I'm going to vi to create a new file. So I'm going to paste that. So the name of the new file is v10-divisible underscore by underscore 2.py. So I hope everyone can see that. So I'm just going to hit enter, and we are in there. Now the next thing we're going to be doing here is to import. Okay, we are not importing, to put our usual stuff there. So I'm gonna put # exclamation mark slash, then usr slash bin slash by thon3, just like that. Then we are going to go over to the next line to start writing our code. So that is for that. So the next thing is to define our function, which we were told. So the function, you check it there, you see it. The name of the function that we say we should create is divisible by 2. So I'm going to do that, divisible by then 2. like that. So that's the name of the function we are going to be creating. So I'm going to pass a parameter into that. So I'm just going to say my lists. Then based on the fact that it's a list, I'm going to equate it to a box, square bracket I mean. So you're going to put that there. Now that we have created the function, now I want to talk more about the function. So what will our function be doing? What will our function be doing? So the first thing is, this is our function. So I'm just going to create a copy of that original function. So I'm just going to call it new list. That's what I'm going to do. So I'll create a copy of that. So let me copy from the original list. And how do we copy from the original list? The original list is this my list, which we have here. This my list we have here. So I'm going to type my list dot copy, my list, then dot copy, like that. So with this line of code, automatically I have copied what we have there. Now I'm going to go over to look through the list. That means the original list, not the copied list. So I'm going to do for, then I'm going to use I in. Now doing that, I'm going to have a range. So a range. Now starting from 1. Or should I start from 1? Our list, every index always starts from 0. So 0, 1. So I'm not starting from 1, I'm starting from 0. Then I'm going to get the last list. So to get the last list, I don't know the number of arguments or the number of elements the person is going to provide. So I'm just going to use the total. I'm going to use the length function. So length function, then my list, just like that. So that is it for the getting the loop. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check. You know that we have a new list and we have the original list. So with my new list that I've just created, I'm going to use that new list to check, to assign some things. So actually the new list is a copy of the original one, so we shouldn't forget that. Now I'm going to give a condition. If my list, now you can see that my list, putting 1 will access the second index, so putting 2, but I want to access all the index. So based on the fact that the if statement is inside a for loop, that means I can access all the stuff there by just passing the I that we got from this place here. So the value here is not constant, it's going to be changing. So now I'm going to module it by 2. You know that this always gives us the remainder of a particular stuff, right? So it always gives us a remainder. So the remainder can always be 1 or 2. For instance, 2 divided by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1 remainder 0. So 0 will be the remainder. You get that? 2 divided by 3 is what? 1 remainder 1. Maybe let me use 6. 6 divided by what? By 2. That will be what? 3 remainder 0. So all the numbers that are divisible by 2 are always remaining 0. Now let's confirm that 2 divided by 2, that is what? 1 remainder 0, 4 divided by 2, 2 remainder 0, 6 divided by 2, 3 remainder 0, 8 divided by 2, 4 remainder 0, 10 divided by 2, you understand? So like so on, just like that. But any numbers that cannot be divided by this thing, the remainder will always be 1. So let's do that. 1 remainder by 1 divided by 2, that will be 1 remainder 1 divided by 2, that will be 1 remainder 1, that should be 1 over 2. Then 3 divided by this, 3 divided by 2, that will be 1 remainder 1. 5 divided by 2, that will be 4 2 remainder 1. And 7 divided by 2, that will be 3 remainder 1. So just like that. So I now equate it. So if I look through each of those numbers and the remainder is 0, then we can take the next action. So what's the next action is to what? Go to the next line, then assign the new list as 1. I'll tell you why we are using 1. So now I can use 1 like this. 1 like number 1 like this. I'm going to explain that. The new list of I at that particular time, good, is 1. Now I'm going to explain why it is 1. You see that in our question we are asked to return a new list with what? With true or false. So as I said earlier, that true stands for 1 and false stands for 0. True stands for 1 and false stands for 0. So I can provide 1 here and I can provide 0. 1 I can provide true, I can provide false, and I can provide 0. So just like that. And the way for me to prove that, how can I prove that? Let me prove that to us. So I'm going to come to this place and print. I'm going to print true, like true, TRUE, just like this. I'm going to print it and you're going to see what is going to come out. Okay, so that should be 10. So I'm going to change the mode. Change mode, U plus X. So we are going to have 10 there. Good. So I'm going to run that 10 so we all see. So me running the 10 so that we can see is and I'm coming. Run this like that and I'm going to hit enter. You can see true is what? Printed out. True is printed out, but I don't want true to be printed out. I want the value 1 to be printed out. So how can I do that? Is just to is just to convert it to a digit. So I'm going to use the F string. I'm going to use the F string to do that. Or let me use the format string. So just pass format here, format, then open that and close it here. Then I'll come over to this place. Then I'm going to put the curly braces with a column of D, just like that. So now I'll escape that and go ahead and run it again to see what we got. You see, 1 is what? Printed out. If you can see that 1 is printed out, then if I go in back to that place and change this true to what? False. So let me change it to false, like that, and I'm going to quickly run and execute that. You see, 0 is what printed out. So that's just what I want to prove to us. So I'm going to get rid of that. Now now that I've settled that aspect, the next thing is I'm going to give an else condition. So what's the else condition? Definitely, if something is not true, that means it will be false. So I'm going to say new underscore list, then open close that, then I'm going to equate it, I'm going to equate that to 0. So you can easily use true or false or return 0, whichever one. So now after everything, I'm going to return my list completely. So return new list. So I'll just put return new list. Return new list. So now I have returned all the lists I have just created, which is very, very, very important. Now we want to be checking for this to confirm if we are doing the right thing. So I'm just going to hit enter like that. Then I want to print exactly the same statement that was given to us at this instance. So let's check to see that right away. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm copying it, then I'm going to explain later on, so we have a good view of what we are doing. So I'll come to this and paste it here. Good. So now I'm going to explain what is going on here. So the first thing I did, was to create a list that contains 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now they want to check those lists, which one that can be divided by 2. Understood? So now they call our function, but the way they call our function, which is divided by, you can see that the name of our function is divided by 2. So now they are declaring the function, they are calling it in this place, so which we are doing here, calling the function. But calling this function, we are assigning it to what? To a variable called list underscore result. So whatever information we are going to get from here, returning a new list, the list we are getting from here is coming from the result we are going to get. So we have assigned our output to a new stuff here. So before we even proceed, I would like to check each of those stuff to see how it works. So I'm just going to put a symbol there to uncomment that away, put that to uncomment that away, come here and add that to uncomment that, like that, then come to this place and uncomment that. So now I want to print my list, so I'm going to print. So let me print and see what is inside list underscore results. List underscore results. So I am going to execute that. So you can see this is the list we have, which is 1 0 1 0 1 0 1. So 1 means it cannot be what? Divisible, that which is number 1, and which is number 0, 1 2 0, like that. So this is the list that was returned. So we want to make use of this list. Whenever it returns 1, then it's going to say 1 simply means true. So whenever it returns 1, that means it is divisible by 2. And whenever it returns 0, right? No. So that should be, yeah. Whenever it returns 1, that means it is divisible by 2, because I say 1 stands for true and 0 stands for false. So 0 is divisible by 2, but 1 is not divisible by 2. 1, let me check the list to confirm so that I will not be saying gibberish. Okay, I want to confirm that right away. Oh shit, what I've copied is gone. Okay, do you know what? To avoid that, whenever, because I didn't close the tab, so it's giving me this error. So to do that, I'm going to remove. Let me remove that hidden stuff. So let me check. Let me list what we have there. Dash all. So I think this is what is causing it. So we are going to delete that. So remove dots. So that's what is causing that issue. So now I think we are good to go. Good. So that we won't encounter such issue anymore. Now that we have that put in place, I'll see paste what we're doing before. So as I was explaining, so 0 can be divided by 2, is going to return 1, but this cannot be divided by 2, so it's going to return 0. So we have 1, 0, 2 can be divided by 2, that is 1, 3 can never be divided by 2, that is 0, this can be divided by 2, 4 can be divided by 2, that is 1, 5 can never be divided, that is 0, and 6 can be divided. So we have 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. So just like that. So it starts with 1 and end with 1. So now let me do that again once more. Come down to this, rectify that, and rectify that, and also rectify this. So we are good to go. Now I can WQ that right away and list what we have in here. So good. So now I can go ahead and run and see what we have as we did previously. Okay, sorry, I was not printing it out, so let me go and print that out. So now that I have this list in here, which we have all this stuff here, and I want to print list, print, then I'm going to put list underscore results, just like that. So that should print stuff for us. So you see we have 1 0 1 0 1 0 1 0. So just like that. Now with this information that is provided, we know that 1 stands for true, false, and true, false, so on. So now that's the first thing we did. So I'm going to get rid of this. Now the next thing is we want to loop through all of this information. You can use the for loop and you can also use this loop either, but let me explain their own way. So I'm going to get rid of that. Now you see the first thing we did, using a while loop, you must assign a variable an unknown variable to either 0, where you want to start the loop from. So I'm starting the loop from 0, so I assign I to 0. Then a while loop always comes with a future known as a condition future. A condition future, if this condition is still true, then the loop should keep on running. So that is the condition future I'm talking about. So while I is less than the what? The length of the list we have, let this loop keep on running as far it is not up to that length. So the length of it should be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So these are 7 numbers. So what I'm invariably saying is, why 0 is less than what? Because I here stands for 0. Or why? Because the variable always changes. So let me just put 0, because when it comes to this point, it will add up to 1. So is why what? Why 0 is less than 7. The loop should run. The loop is going to run. Then when you go out of it, I want you to do what? I want you to increment I by 1. Now when you're coming back again to run the function, while what? 1 is less than 7, the function will what? Still run, because that condition is true. Till maybe when you get to the one whereby while 7 is less than 7, 7 can never be less than 7, but it can be less than equals to, but it can never be less than 7. So if you now say why 7 is less than what? The value, then this code should what? The code should this code should run. That will not run. It's going to jump out of the code and not even bother adding again and go outside of the while loop and give you the final answer, because the condition is not true. So while loop is a loop that deals with conditions, unlike for loop that you just put for in this, then loop through this thing without providing any condition. So you use while for condition, just like if and else. So while what I is less than the length of the result, so I'm going to get rid of this. I want us to print the what? So we are going to use a the format string function, or the format string, to do that. So this is the template we have provided. The first one here is going to be holding, this first part here is going to be holding the number, while the second part is going to be holding the string. So the number is maybe 0 is, then the string can be is. So number can be what? 0, then string can be is, then we are going to have a hard-coded value there, divisible by 2, like that. Understood? You can still go ahead and say 3. This is the only part that will change. This string is not everything that is going to be is. That's why we will not insert is there. We put the strings because we are expecting different kind of strings to appear there, depend on what the function gives us. So if we have s there, that means we can have is there or is not. So you can say 3 is not divisible by 2. So that's why we have that 2 stuff there. Now we put dot. So these are the formats we have just created. We are going to put dot. Then we are going to pass in the format. So the format, sorry about that. The format is what we have here. So I'm going to take this up there because it's kind of obstructing my view. So the format we are going to pass, the first one is the number that we are dividing by. So this is going to loop through each number starting from 0, 0, 1, 2. So this stuff here stands for this 1. All this stuff we have here, we are looping through each and every of those lists in that contact. So now we can have the other part of it. So the first one is receiving the value, then the next one is for the what? Is for the string. So the string, we are going to use a condition to detect from the 0 1 0 1 0 1. I tell you that true and false is just like 1 and 0. So we come to this place, we say let is be printed out in this string we have here, as far, that's when I put the if, as far we have the list results. You know that the list result gave us 1 and 0. So when I'm printing the first one, if list there is 1, then it's going to say, it's going to print out this is. Else, let is not be represent the string we have there. So we have is and is not. So is going to give us there, or is not, in case whichever. So if list is 1, is going to be printed. But if is, if this list result is 0, then the else statement is going to return the is not value. Then when we are done, we come outside and what? We come out here and, let me get rid of that. We come out here and what? Give the actual stuff. Increment the value of 1, because 1 is always constant at what? 0. So we'll come to this place and augment it by adding 1. When it loops again, we add 1 again, and so forth. So that is that for this. So now I'm going to go out and run it so that you see what our answer is going to look like. So you can see what we get as our answer. 0 is divisible by 2, 1 is not divisible by 2, 2 is divisible by 2, and 3 is not divisible by 2, and so on, just like that. So you get the whole picture of what we are doing here. So please make sure you subscribe if you have not done that. Don't forget to smash the like button and share to friends. So see you in the next tutorial. Thank you.